Hear
It's
Oh,
changing. All right. I guess we'll start.
Okay.
Start.
wait, just
So,
wait.
It's already recording, so
Yeah, we're live, but
all right. Okay.
just we're good to
Ready?
go.
Welcome back to another episode of the rOilers podcast. This is episode number 10. I am James, Paul McCartney on Reddit. With me is Arun, Arunatic5, and Adam Sweet 44722.
yes, you got it. All
Number
right.
right this time. So yeah, three of us back together again here now. So what we're gonna do is basically just go through a bunch of Oilers topics that have happened over the last couple of weeks, general league roundup, etc., etc. So first off, what we're gonna start off with here is the Connor McDavid injury. So that's about 2 weeks old now. I think that happened right after our
What
last.
was the intro to your beard?
We can rebuild it. Okay.
We have the
Technically.
technology.
I don't know if it goes as well as the Oilers did. It's gonna end up looking like mine.
Yeah, it'll be all right. So
Anyway,
So
sorry.
we'll start off with the Connor McDavid injury, shoulder injury. As we all know, you're not a proper Oiler until you get a long-term shoulder injury. So, Adam, what are your thoughts with this injury? How the team has responded to that, and how long do you think he's going to be out? Should he be out as long as the prognosis is indicating?
Well, I'm not the doctor here, so unfortunately, I can't really say
You're
as.
not a doctor?
Hmm?
You're not a
Not
doctor?
a doctor,
This is
surprisingly.
news to me.
I mean, I'm close enough to being a psychologist, right? but
Okay.
I don't know. The prognosis I guess we got was 8 to 12 weeks approximately. They said indefinitely, but the broken collarbone typically takes 8 to 12 weeks with surgery. It was. I mean, the good news is if we're gonna look at it this way, it's awful that he broke his collarbone, but it was a clean break. There was no soft tissue damage, and the surgery was successful, and he was pain free a week later, which means that pretty much everything that could have gone right went right with the surgery.
Mecha
Um,
McDavid activated.
so, I mean, he's still young. He's 18, so I could see him back between 9 and 10 weeks, which would put us at about Christmas, early January. Um, Latest I think is the All Star break. So, but in terms of responding, Taylor Hall was playing well before. He's playing even better now, and Leon Draisaitl has been absolutely amazing. And I know we'll cover that later, so I'll save that for later. But teams responded fairly well. Yeah, no, I think that losing him's a huge gap. And we're seeing that now, but things could definitely go worse out of what we've done so far. Arun?
Yeah, see the difference between Oilers before we lost McDavid and the Oilers now that yeah, before we lost and after we lost. So it's still like relatively the same team. We still suck. We lose games by 1 goal consistently. It's a bunch of moral victories. It's been this way for like 9 years now. The key difference when we had McDavid was that you were excited to watch a game. And now you don't have as much excitement to watch a game because you don't know if that magical thing is going to happen. Yeah, Draisaitl is playing absolutely great, but um, I don't know. It's missing that magical element. So in that sense, like I would be okay with us losing a few games if we saw McDavid magic throughout it. But now we're just losing games without McDavid, and we're not going to get McDavid back until after Christmas, likely.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
James?
Yeah, he's probably gone till at least Christmas, which is fine. I mean, I think they're going to err on the side of caution with this anyway. Clean break, obviously, young, so he can probably heal faster than someone in their late 20s or 30s. But it's Connor McDavid. I mean, they're going to treat him like the Penguins treated Crosby when he had his concussion issues.
You mean
Probably was
play him the
out.
next day?
That
He probably
was.
could have came back earlier than he did. That's what I'm getting at with Crosby. He was out a long time. But I kind of agree with what Arun said. The team is missing magic, and aside from Hall and Dreisaitl, not a whole lot of eye-catching plays. One thing I have noticed that's better with this year compared to last year and years past is that there is no quit with the team.
Hmm.
I think that that's a big difference. When they get down by 2 goals in the past, the shoulders are slumped, body language is like, well, this is done. Let's pack it up, get on the plane, and go to the next city. That's not how it's worked this year so far. That wasn't how it worked last night against the Kings. They almost came back if it wasn't for he who must not be named, number 51. But so we'll get to that. But yeah, I think the team is better than they were last year.
Do you attribute the I don't want to say culture change, but the change in approach to a game to management, or or maybe player personnel?
I think it's both. Over the course of the summer, I mean, such monumental change came with both management and players that it's like, how can we not be psyched for this? That's my train of thought. I don't know whether or not that's going to last, whether apathy is going to set in again, but from my perspective, it's like the players are stoked to play for each other. That's what I think.
It's pretty much exactly.
See, my concern with that is that, yeah, we're coming back, but we've only had 3 games go into an extra frame, right?
The issue
we keep losing games in the last few minutes, or we can't like make up the difference in the last little bit. Yeah, we've only lost like 2 games, or was it 3 games with a margin greater than 1 goal in our losses. But at the same time, like, why are we having such a difficulty keeping the game tied or trying to take the lead?
I don't know. They're always playing from behind, it seems like.
Yeah.
And they don't start playing until they are behind.
Yeah, they get behind early, and that just... It's hard to come back. Like, they don't quit, but, I mean, it's the NHL. It's hard to come back.
My theory, in a sense, is more along the lines of, yeah, we are playing from behind, and we are playing well from behind, but is it also possibly because other teams are sort of lying back a little and, like, allowing the Oilers to come back into the game?
It's possible, but we've played some good teams and come back against good teams, and good teams don't lay back, like the teams that are currently in first place.
I mean, LA didn't make playoffs last season, right?
Well, not necessarily LA, but what about Montreal? They're second in the league right now.
Montreal's an enigma for me. I don't know what they're good, like what they like smoke.
Price is... I don't understand Price's record against us. He has like...
No, I don't either.
Scriven's like numbers from last year. It's just, it doesn't make sense. But
okay, so we'll move on from that.
Arun, you're watching the
next up
YouTube
here.
stream, right? The comments.
Pardon?
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, I'm paying attention to comments, guys. You can comment in the live chat or the Reddit thread, and I will pay attention to that and let your comments be known.
Sorry,
James?
go ahead.
Okay, so Leon Draisaitl and Darnell Nurse. Short question: you guys think that they are up for good? And who is the next injury call-up at their respective positions? Arun, you can go ahead.
This one's toughy. I don't think you can break up that top line right now. That top line is playing amazing. It's possibly the only highlight of our past 2 weeks is the fact that Draisaitl has 12 points in 8 games now?
13.
Yeah, he's played out of his mind.
13 points in 8 games, yeah. He's playing out of his mind, yeah. And like at a certain point, he was the highest in points per game, and it's starting to even out now.
Still is,
but even though it's evening out, he's still got 2 points over 2 games.
He's still the leader in PPG right now.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah, but because that is such a huge factor, when McDavid comes back, having a solid second line, along with a solid first line, is what the Oilers desperately need. Because right now, the problem is that we really have only one line that can threaten, one line that sort of threatens about, I don't know, 50% of the time and can't put the puck in the back of the net, and 2 lines that are absolutely garbage. And then you combine that with a defensive corps that's just inexperienced. It's not great. Anyway, Nurse. My problem with Nurse is there's still a lot left for him to learn, and I would much prefer it if he's learning it in an environment where he's not losing. Perhaps, like, I feel as though going to the Condors, right?
Yep.
Yeah, going to the Condors and taking like a few further steps, like a few more games of learning and experience in that environment would probably be better for him than
Now,
say.
the thing with Nurse though is that he's been arguably our best defenseman in the last 2 weeks. So do you
I
send
would
down his
I
best
would
defenseman?
argue that he's appearing that way primarily because amongst our defensemen he has the best skating and he's one of our more physical defensemen.
Oh, if it appears that way,
But the
then
rest of his game, like Corsi wise, in terms of puck possession, in terms of making smart decisions with the puck, it's not as strong as you need it to be.
I want to double check that because I haven't actually looked at his course yet. So I want
Yeah,
to take a look at
I
that.
looked at
But
his Corsi a little while ago, but
what about
last
his
I checked, it was like
what about his hero
43.
charts?
I'm not
Hero
down with
charts?
the
I'll take a
idea.
look.
I'm not down with the idea of sending him back so that he can be in a winning environment. I mean, the Condors are not a great
As
team
the
either.
Condors aren't even doing that well right now.
No, no,
Uh,
no.
no, they're
But
not.
he would have more of an impact to the Condors than he would have for the Oilers.
He's playing on the top line with Sekera right now.
Yeah,
So
I'm fine with the way he's played, honestly.
I
Alright.
I'd keep him up. Yeah, no, I'd go with Drysdale. You can't send down, but the way I see it is, if Teddy Purcell is playing well in that line right now with Hall and and Drysdale, then as soon as you could throw Eberle back on that line, and they'd be pretty good. Then you have Yakupov and McDavid, and when he comes back, and then I feel like I'm missing somebody out of that group though. But
Eberle.
Nuge.
Eberle.
Nuge. You could throw. See, that's the thing is that you could even have you could put Nuge and McDavid and Hall back together, or not Nuge. Oh my God, I'm off today.
Draisaitl.
What you got to do
You're stressed out
is
on Hall.
divide them into pairs. Hall and Draisaitl, McDavid and Yak, Nuge and Eberle.
Yeah,
That's 3 lines. I don't know how you divide up ice time or power play time or whatever, but players like Hendricks, Pouliot,
so
Purcell, like they slide in where they may. But I mean, McDavid brought Yakupov back from the dead, for God's sakes. I mean, Yakupov played a pretty good game last night,
mhm.
but he has like 1 assist in
He was
5 games or something.
look at his partners. He's playing with Hendricks and fucking Lander. Like he's
Yeah, like I agree with that, but I mean,
no, I
would it
mean
be
he's
better
not
if he was
not
playing
producing.
with
You know what?
Nuge? I don't
He
know.
played pretty okay with Nuge the other day, and I think that's probably who he would have played with again today. But Nuge or yesterday, but Nuge was out. So
Oh man, I want to like Yakupov, but I just don't think that he should have to
something
be
unbelievable.
carried. I mean, there's no other way for me to say it.
The thing about Yakupov is that he's a player who doesn't carry the puck. So he's not so much as being carried as you need a player to bring the puck up the ice for him, which is, I mean, it's one of those things where he's more or less a mobile cannon. You're going to stick him up somewhere, you're going to pass him the puck, and he's going to shoot it in.
Mhm.
And that's why he and Galchenyuk worked so well. Is Gally would carry the puck for him in juniors,
Dished it off,
and
yeah.
he'd just rifle it. And it's not to say Yakupov can't carry the puck and he doesn't have moves, but he's definitely more comfortable being the setup guy, the passing guy, the go-getter, and then passing it off, which is I think why McDavid works so well with him. And Nugent
Yeah.
Hopkins, they've had success. It didn't show up the other day, but I think Nugent and Eberle are so good together because they know each other so well at this point that it's almost inevitable they score. But with Yakupov, it's like it's finding that player, and I think they found that player, McDavid. But
Well, I mean,
approaching this from the other perspective, then Arun and I know you and I are huge Yakupov fans, but I think I have a feeling how James is going to approach this one then. But if you have to trade one of the top 6 or top 7 forwards, I guess now, that's Eberle, Hall, Draisaitl, Nuge, McDavid, and Eberle. Do you trade Yakupov because he's only been working with one player, or do you not because that's the one player he's been working with is our cornerstone franchise centerman?
I trade Eberle.
I trade Eberle.
Really?
Yeah.
My reasoning for trading Eberle isn't the fact that who's better for our team, but who's going to fetch us more value in the trade market.
Exactly. Yakupov's
And
value.
Yakupov won't if you look at it in terms of history, Yakupov is not going to fetch as good of a value in return as Eberle will.
But what
Because
about
the thing about Eberle is that he can play defensively, he can also play well offensively. He can cycle the puck if that's what you need. He's good at scoring. He scored well. His points per 60 is one of the best on the team during his entire career. So
But
yeah.
that's kind of the issue though. Is he's been our leading scorer for the last 2 years since Hall's been out so much. So do you trade our leading scorer?
You anticipate McDavid more than making up for that, I think. And McDavid and Yakupov and Hall and Draisaitl. I mean, at some point, something is going to have to give with those forwards. It's not going to work. Like, not even just like team performance wise. I mean, contract wise. Like, something is going to have to give there eventually. That will not stay together forever. So I think Eberle is established. He's 25. Like, he's still young-ish. Um, he's a 60-point player. That's not something to sneeze at. So I think that he's the guy that I would trade easily.
No. Last question.
Okay, Adam, I'm trying to look at sorry, this is really quick. I'm trying to look at the uh,
Hero charts.
hero charts. There isn't anything available for Nurse at the moment.
Did you set the number of games?
Like I can't find any website that'll give me hero charts for this season.
Okay, I have one, but I don't want to. I can pull it up in the stream, but it'll just pop up. So, the other question I was asking then, I was going to ask, is that if we have, if you, I mean, because Everly's under contract till when?
2019,
2019?
I think. And Hall is 1 year later.
So do you not trade him until? Oh, he's not gonna pop up. All right. Do you trade him prior? Like if we need, do you trade him this season for a good defenseman, or what do you kind of return do you get for him, and when would you trade him if you do trade Eberle?
Are you showing us hero stuff on purpose?
Yeah, I was trying to find it, but it didn't
Okay.
come up. So.
No, repeat the question. Like
Okay,
I
so
was like, what is he doing?
if you have Eberle, he's
Yeah.
under contract till 2019. He's $6 million. Do you trade him now, or do you trade him closer to when his contract expires, when he might have more value or less value? And what kind of return do you get for him?
I don't know whether or not you trade him now or later. I mean, if probably like later, probably like a year from now, I would say. So that McDavid and Draisaitl are more well established. Hopefully Yakupov is once again resurrected from the dead. It's tough, I'm glad that these decisions actually aren't mine, to be honest with you. I would probably wait at least another year because that means that he's still under contract for like 3 years. That's a long time. So anyone who's trading for him doesn't have those rental issues or whatever.
Arun?
Sean Cullen is saying then. I'm guessing it's in response to trading Eberle comment.
Yeah.
Who would you play on the right side top six then?
We'd probably have to draft somebody or hope that one of the prospects work out, because
Yeah.
it's kind of an issue. Like that's the issue with playing with trading Eberle, is then you run into the issue of Yakupov's your number one winger, but he's playing with McDavid.
I mean, the Nugent Hopkins,
Draisaitl and
Draisaitl, Taylor Hall line definitely worked. So Draisaitl could play right side top six.
but then who's your 3C? Because Buddy
Because
Boy
it's not
there-
Lander.
Letestu? I don't know. Even then, Letestu has been a disappointment this season.
he's not been great either. But I mean, then who's your fourth line
Just-
center? Miller.
Okay, well, let's just back up. Like, let's assume that Yak and Purcell stay with the team right wing. Like, those are two for sure. You can hope on Slepyshev panning out. There's still
He's left wing, though.
Pakarin. You can still, yeah, but I mean, people switch wings all the time. I don't know. There's still Eero
Yeah.
Pakarin. I mean, you can't have a star at every position in the top six. I mean,
I don't see
there's got to be weaknesses somewhere.
I don't see Purcell on the team after the end of the season, unless he's up to like 40+ points.
I still see him with the team.
He
Unless we can find someone else that's big and gruffer.
he doesn't even throw his body around.
No, he doesn't.
So I don't know, because he's getting what, 4.5 million right now, which is as much as Nick Keaton,
Mhm.
and he only got 2 goals this year. Albeit he's played better in the last couple of games, but
Yeah.
for a guy that size, he needs to use his body. He needs to be a leader, and he needs to be a point leader. Like the issue when you're getting paid that much money and you're playing third line, that's not good enough.
I mean, we weren't the ones that signed him to that contract.
No, but that's the point is that for that
We
amount
didn't
of
want to
money,
buy out Gagne, so then we did that.
for that amount of money, it's going to be easier for us to just trade him as a rental, retain a bit of salary, and then I don't know.
Sean Cullen, your point about two left wingers playing on the right side, yeah, I agree with you, but the difference is Draisaitl, Nuge, and Hall have demonstrated a good amount of chemistry together, so if that can be sustained, I'd be comfortable with that.
Alex Ovechkin plays a bunch on the right wing now after starting his career on the left wing. Like, if Alex Ovechkin can switch, Slepyshev can switch, like, deal with it.
Well, also, Ovechkin's also a generational talent, but
He is a generational
Yeah.
there are
talent.
wingers that do switch though, so that's
Ovechkin
not
has
it's not
learned
uncommon.
how, deal with it. Like, put in an effort at least. There's got to be someone willing to at least try.
Now, what about? I mean, we could always pick up a winger too. The other thing that we're approaching now is we have on the farm now we have Kyra, Yakimov, and Chase or not Chase. Is Chase a centerman?
He is, yeah, but he's in the ECHL, so
Really, he got sent down.
I think he started there.
Wow. So we have those three all vying for NHL positions, and Kyra is putting in a good case for us keeping him. He didn't have a great couple of years, but he's putting in a good case for eating him. Whereas Bogdan Yakimov looks like a fourth line centerman with the way he plays defensively. Would you bring those two up and have them play center at some point, and like 3 and 4, and then have Draisaitl play top, or would you stick Draisaitl at 3 and then let those guys battle out and move to one and wing?
Jesus Christ.
Uh, God, yeah, I don't know, man.
This is why we don't get paid.
Yeah.
Big
Yeah,
money
this is
every
why we
year.
don't get paid to do
Yeah.
be the GM, because this is the really, really freaking tough decisions.
Yeah,
And unfortunately for this team, you need to make a tough decision now because what we have right now isn't working. And Lander is definitely not working. So we just need some kind of a change up. Honestly, I would give it'd be like 2 game spurts where I would go about picking 2 games that are good team and bad team or good team and neutral team. And then try out Yakimov and then try out what was it? Who's the other guy again?
Kyra.
Kyra.
And then try out Chase. And then see what works and then stick with that. And if none of them work, there's still the Lander thing too. And see, basically, scratch Lander and see if he'll improve in a trial by fire.
You know what's funny is yesterday, guess who was actually supposed to start yesterday of all people?
Can't start Lander. I don't think that you can scratch Lander.
I think you'll have to scratch Lander for a game. He's been playing so bad. I don't
Okay,
know.
but so that leaves you with Nuge and Letestu at center.
Yeah, that's kind of the issue at this point. We can't. I think you have to do it when you have actual players again, because that's just like when you have also Chase got called back up to the AHL.
Oh, did
But
they?
yeah, he started the year in the ECHL. He's only played one AHL game. I think if you're gonna bench Lander, you have to wait until McDavid's back, which is
Oh, totally. Yeah.
we've ran into this issue now where we have 3 centermen max on a team where one of them is playing winger.
Yeah.
But now, with Draisaitl's success yesterday, do you keep Draisaitl as number 1C and put Nuge as 2C,
No.
or other way around?
I think so. Yes, I'm okay with that. I mean, he's playing so well with
That's true.
Hall. I don't even think that it line numbers. I don't even know if they matter that much. I mean, Nuge and Eberle second line, Hall, Draisaitl first line. They're interchangeable in my mind. People get so hung up on first line, second line when there's this many forwards kicking around, and you play people off of each other. You play with what works, and line numbers be damned. Keep them together. Draisaitl number 1C. Do it. Done.
So do you
Hold on. I want to jump in on this too. I could see, actually, in second thought, like a 1A, 1B kind of situation where you have Draisaitl, Hall, maybe Yakupov, maybe Purcell, see what works.
Yeah.
And then for second line, Nuge, Eberle, and Pouliot because it worked last season.
That's true. Yeah, I didn't think about that combo. But so then you have on the first you have what Hall, Draisaitl, and then either Yakupov or Purcell.
Hold on a second. So.
It's got to be Purcell, I think. Like, he's played decent with them.
Yeah, it's probably going to be Purcell, and then when Purcell plays poorly, like, what's his name? T-Mac. T-Mac?
Yep.
Yeah, T-Mac is a fan of switching lines around, so on the fly. So
He's been our
he'll
coach.
like
He's
choose
been our
that.
coach for 6 months, and he can't get his name.
McClellan.
Okay, I still can't pronounce our GM's name. Okay, so yeah,
That's true. You go with nicknames Chia-Pet.
Chia, Chia.
There you go. Yeah, no, I don't. And then I think when McDavid comes back, it solves a lot of the issues, to be honest, because you don't have to play Lander or you don't have to play Draisaitl at center. But we do have the issue of the extra winger now. If you're going to go with a solid top six, and you have one of your star players playing third line, with players who frankly haven't been good enough for them to play with them.
Okay, so we talked about the situation right now. Then, what do you think it's gonna look like when McDavid and Schultz comes back?
James, I'll let you
I'll
start
leave
this
that
one.
to James first.
Forward lines. Hall, Draisaitl, Purcell, then Pouliot, McDavid, Yak. Third line, Nuge, Eberle, and geez, I don't even know. Pakarainen, maybe? Or Hendricks?
Pakarainen.
I'd say Hendo.
We could play
Yeah.
Pakarainen. Pakarainen has shown spurts of decent play.
Pakarainen, I guess. And then the fourth line would be Hendricks, Letestu, and
Gazdic, probably.
I hate Gazdic so much.
He hasn't
I
been
do
that
too.
bad this year, though.
He's playing better this season, but still.
I mean, he's
I
not a
don't know.
liability,
We
which is about the
we
extent
need
you
better
can
puck
wish. That,
possession.
I would put Klinkhammer. I like Klinkhammer better than Gazdic. And then your 13th forward, I guess, is Gazdic. Whatever happened to Korpikoski? Like,
he's on the IR. I think he has a concussion. They said he has a head injury and is undisclosed, which probably
I
means
haven't
it's
heard
concussion.
anything from him in weeks.
Beats,
and then your
beats a crotch plate.
Say again?
Your defense, I
Who's the player
guess,
again
is
that has he's getting the genital plate put in because he had a major injury in his groin.
Oh, I don't even know, but it sounded painful.
God damn it!
You're the worst.
okay. So then your defense is Schultz, Nurse and Sekera, Schultz, Clefbaum. I guess Reinhardt and Greiba, but man, they were awful last night.
They were pretty bad. Greiba got benched in the third, for that missing that third goal.
Am I missing anyone? I feel like I missed a name.
Davidson.
Oh yeah, Davidson. I guess would just be number 7. I guess I don't know. And Ferentz, just collect your paycheck, man. Sit in the press box.
He was supposed to be playing yesterday.
Really?
Yeah, he got the flu. He was slated to start.
He hasn't played since October. I don't think.
It's been. I think he's played 3 games this year.
Yeah, he'll be lucky to what's his number? 21. He'll be lucky to match that in games played this year.
I said he'd play under 25 games this season, or under 20 games. So we'll see. But he's on
I think
pace.
he'll play 20 games.
Sorry?
I think he'll play 20 games.
20?
20-ish anyway. I don't know. It's his last season for sure.
Now, do you send Davidson down because he hasn't been playing all that much?
When Schultz comes back,
he has to clear waivers, doesn't he?
He does, yes.
Actually, when Schultz comes back, oh god, I have no idea.
Yeah, no, I don't think I'd put him down because I think there's a decent chance he would get claimed.
See, now we come to this point here where, I'm from Mark Fayne, but I had something about that in a minute. But
Jeez.
when you come to this point, is it worth sending Nurse down because he doesn't have to clear waivers?
No, I'm not saying that I would send Nurse down. Reinhardt, I would send Reinhardt down before Nurse at this point.
But the thing is, I think we have to kind of exclude Reinhardt because
I would actually send Reinhardt down.
I don't know. Yeah, I would too, but I don't think he's gonna get sent down. Which is because he was a player that Chiarelli specifically went out and sought from the Islanders. I don't think he's gonna get sent down this year.
Well, you got to put your ego aside and
Well,
make those calls. I mean, I
I
don't
would
know. It's
too.
not even a hard decision for me, honestly. Like Reinhardt before Nurse for sure.
So then we arrive.
Reinhardt has not been playing well. He's sort of flying under the radar because
He's been okay at best. Like
he's
he's
been
been
okay at
like not
times,
acceptable, like almost
but
acceptable.
like yeah, and it's also because he's playing third line. But at the same time, it's not been great.
No.
I don't know what everyone is so happy about with Reinhardt.
So then I guess because he's calm with the puck. He is calm with the puck.
I
So
looked up those two players that the Islanders drafted with our picks that we traded for Reinhardt, and they're both like well over 1.5 points a game this year in junior and stuff. It's like, man,
was it Barzal and or the Fayne Cup
Barzal
Barzal?
and Beauvillier.
Yeah, Barzal was the one that I really wanted.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
when
man.
that happened, all three of us were saying we lost that trade.
We'll see what Reinhardt turns out to be
Yeah,
right
I
now.
mean, scoring in junior doesn't translate into the NHL. Obviously, we all know that, but it still sucks to look at it right now. I mean, Anthony Beauvillier, he's like 2 points a game in the queue right now, so
The Q's a high scoring league though,
that sucks to look at.
so he'd be at 1.5 maybe in any other league, but I don't know. The way I see it, Reinhardt is he's been more consistent than Graba. And the issue with Graba right
Hey,
now is that
guys, I think I'm lagging a little. Is my
No.
audio
well you are now.
No,
but
you're good.
You're okay.
okay? Cool.
Whatever. Graba has
keep
been Graba has been horribly inconsistent, which is my issue with him. He's been up and down, in and out. He'll make great plays and he'll turn it over, or he'll have a bad game and then it's just when you're playing third pairing defense, you can't be inconsistent, and he's horribly inconsistent. If you're consistently good or consistently bad, you can work it, but it's just he's all over the place. Fayne is probably gone though. What do you guys make of that?
Yeah, I don't see. I knew I forgot someone. I was listing off names there. I'm like, who have I forgotten? Fayne, he's got to be
Sorry.
gone.
Sean Cullen is saying this is in response to what you said. We were talking about in terms of that Reinhardt trade. We need big defense now, not a high scoring prospect in 5 years. Reinhardt hasn't been great, but he's been big and strong and more than we've been on defense for a while.
I mean, he's not wrong, but it's tough to look at it and say that they got a prospect that's potentially going to be producing a whole crap ton of offense versus we got a defenseman where we don't know. We were told that he's going to be a potential top four defenseman, and right now is looking like he's bottom two.
Yeah,
I mean, again, it's also only his first year of NHL playing, so
yeah.
tempered
I
expectations.
would rather have like a Derek Roy than a Matt Green. Like that's what I see Griffin Reinhardt developing into. Just
Green from the Devils.
no from the
Okay.
Kings.
Not
Yeah,
the Devils. The Devils green is amazing.
I was gonna say, I was like, I'll take that.
I want
anyway.
that defenseman.
I don't know.
He'll suddenly make Fayne good again.
The other side of it is Reinhardt's playing with Greiba and Davidson, which isn't really a great pairing, and he has been okay, which I mean is definitely good enough for a player in his first year. We can't expect him to be like Clefbaum. So I'll wait to say whether or not we lost that trade, but right now it kind of hurts that we could have had Barzal.
Yeah, Sean. Matt Green was really good for the Kings, but you know who else the Kings had? Like really freaking good defensemen. And yeah, we need those type of players to win the cup. Unfortunately, we also need good defensemen and good forwards to make the playoffs. Anyway,
I'm not going to argue with
continuing.
that.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not going to argue with that, but I mean, it's just I'm a big fan of like BPA when it comes to draft picks. I hate talking about the draft in November, but
hey, guess
yeah,
what? We're
I
tied
don't
for
know.
last
Yeah.
again.
I know.
Uh,
And the Blue Jackets are winning, so we'll probably end up last.
Sick. Actually,
Where we,
I was listening to 6:30 Ched last night, and you know how they open up the lines for callers
oh
after the
god,
games.
oh no.
Some guy called in and was talking about the 2016 draft, and the guys that were hosting were just like, "No, we're not talking about this." Cut him off, like disconnected him and everything. And it was pretty funny.
We're
I think we should draft Churchin. In my NHL 16 game, he turns into a 96 overall defenseman.
Good. That's good.
No one cares about your fantasy team, Maroon.
Okay. We got pretty off track there. We were talking about Fayne. Fayne getting traded.
Yeah.
That's where we
I blame
originally
Sean.
were. So what's going to happen with Fayne? I mean, he's in the doghouse clearly. So do you guys think he gets traded? Does he stick around? What happens with him?
Go the Maroon first.
I see Fayne getting traded.
Straight up.
My key problem with Fayne is the fact that he's not really fitting into our top four, our bottom two. It's a logjam, and we're paying him a little too much to be in the bottom two. And on top of that, from the looks of it, the coach isn't really liking the way that he's playing. So because of those reasons, I just see Fayne getting traded.
I mean, he was a top 4 defenseman first last year, and he's been sitting for the last 2 weeks. So it's a pretty good sign that he's played 2 games in the last 2 weeks. Last month almost. So I don't think
he did look good in those 2 games, but like considering that he looked good and he's still getting benched is an indication to me he's getting traded.
I'll suspend judgment on the last game since I think half the team was sick with the flu. But with that said, he's only played twice in the last month.
Scratched anyway.
Sorry?
2 players, one of which was probably going to be scratched anyway.
Yeah, but I mean, well, no, Ference is actually supposed to play.
Would you rather have Ference play or Fayne play?
You know that question. You know the
Ference,
answer to that
obviously.
question. But I don't know. To me, if Fayne, if Fayne isn't playing now, then he's pretty much gone. Now, is he gone to the deadline or is he gone sooner? I think he's probably gone sooner because I think Shirley wants to make a move where we actually get a puck-moving defenseman.
I don't think he's going to be traded for a defenseman. If I see him getting traded, I'd see him only getting traded for a
winger?
No, a 3rd-line center or a 4th-line center.
Because segue, our 3rd-line center isn't really doing the job. Yeah, let's do our.
Are we going to talk about our bottom 6?
Let's do our Lander rants, guys. Limber up, stretch it out, get ready. This could take a while.
This is the Lander segment of the show.
The Lander Slander segment.
Yeah,
it's Lander Slam time.
Anton Lander was drafted in the 2nd round of the 2009 draft by the Oilers from Timrå, out of the Swedish Elite League, as it was then called. Magnus Pajärvi was our 1st-round draft pick that year from the same team.
That worked out well.
Yeah, Pajärvi is long gone. Lander was a sort of is he or is he not player. Last year with Todd Nelson, he apparently had broken through 20 points in like 37 games or something like that. That's well on the pace of like a 3rd-line center. Like, I have no problems with that. What happened? Like, 18 games into this season, his stat line is 0 goals, 0 assists, 0 points, 6 pins.
Fucking Nielsen has more points than him.
One of the worst players in the entire league for Corsi.
Nielsen has more points than him.
His one redeeming feature, face-offs.
Yeah.
And
I don't know.
Who cares?
Here's the thing, though. He's winning face-offs, and he's still losing possession.
Yeah. So if he doesn't keep the possession, what do the face-offs really matter? I mean, what are we going to do with this guy?
To me, it's not even that playing badly. When you take 2 motherfucking penalties in a 1-goal game in the 3rd period in the last 10 minutes of the game, you need to be benched. Two terrible penalties. It wasn't even like okay penalties. It was a brutal slash on a chance that we probably had in front of the net, and a hooking call where he got his stick up and in. It's like fuck's sakes, come on, really?
2 penalties in like that last one there was in the offensive zone
on a play where we were driving in front of the net.
Totally unnecessary.
If you have the puck, you should not be taking a penalty. Not like that. If you're in the offensive zone, you shouldn't be taking a penalty, which Pouliot has figured out somehow. And
he was bad for that for a long time.
If you're gonna be invisible, don't fucking take penalties in the offensive zone in the last 10 minutes of the game against against the team in the top league, like the top team in the Pacific. Come on.
Yeah.
Fuck's sakes. Just
G Sarge is saying if we had all our centers right now, he'd be a healthy
yeah,
scratch. But we
absolutely.
don't, so he'll continue to get ice
Well,
time.
And that's the
that's the
issue.
thing because McDavid's out.
Nuge had a flu.
God, Nuge is sick. Draisaitl is locked in with Hall pretty good. I mean, you're not going to scratch any of those guys. Letestu as the fourth line. It's you can't scratch him because there literally are no other choices.
I,
So his job security until McDavid gets back, his job security is still there.
I'd even at this point, honestly, I'm so done with him. I'd even consider calling up Yakimov for a game.
Yeah, that's what I suggested earlier.
Yeah,
Make it a
that
competition.
was
Call up
pretty
Yakimov. Call up Jace. Call up
Kyra, I
Kyra.
want to see more
See
from.
if you can make one of those centers play even a little bit better. If they get 1 point, if
they
they get
surpassed this season
like a
totals.
40
Fuck.
for Corsi, a 40% for Corsi, they are playing better than Lander.
Is he actually below 40?
He's below 40.
Oh
he
my
was
God.
35 last I checked.
Oh
my
God,
Zone
so
adjusted,
bad.
he's 33.
Oh, what's his
Yeah,
zone
that's-
starts at though?
That's embarrassing, man.
It's pretty much equal because he has to take offensive faceoffs.
How do you run 33% when you're on offense?
Sean, yeah, he's fighting it. There's no scoring or points for him for so long. It's his chance to redeem himself. I understand. You should see the next 5 games. The problem is that, like, right now, he's nowhere near where he needs to be. Like, I think at a certain point, after 15 games into the season,
18.
18 games into the season, you need to throw the book at him.
The issue.
Not the book as in, like, rule book, but, you get the heaviest possible textbook and you knock some sense into him.
The issue with me is that we ran into last year with no third line centerman. Lander showed up and he played really well and he removed himself from the fact that you can get sent down and come back up and take your time developing and you'll turn into a good player. And he scored 20 points in 37 games, I think it was. He was a good player defensively for us too. Even his fancy stats were pretty damn good. And then we go into this year and he needs to perform well because we have 3 centermen that are much more capable than he is, and he just falls through the face of the earth.
Yeah.
And the issue isn't even that he's playing badly, he's playing god awful.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
I don't think Yakimov's getting called up because Yakimov and Kyra are playing okay. Actually, they're playing fairly well right now for the Barons, and the Barons need help. So Lander's going to play until January or until we get a new centerman. But does he deserve to play right now? I don't think he does. And that's the issue. But thinking he deserves to play and needing him to play are two different things, unfortunately. So I don't think he should be playing, but he will be playing.
Yeah, he hasn't just been bad. Like, he has been bad, but he's also
really
been
bad.
invisible. I mean, I don't even notice him for a good chunk of the time that he's out there. And going into training camp and this season in general, his name was chiseled into like a stone tablet into that third line center position. After last season, he was here. He'd arrived. He was an NHL player, and he has just been awful. I mean,
I don't know.
Okay, I take it back. Lander's stats are worse than I thought. Never mind. Okay, in his defense, though, now that he's playing with Eberle and Nail Yakupov, his Corsi has jumped up to above 50.
Jesus.
And that's where I think what's happening with Lander is coming in. It's that last season, he wasn't necessarily getting points on his own.
Well,
he was being carried by Taylor Hall.
didn't play with Hall that much.
Hall was hurt for most of last year.
Hall was hurt for most of last season. You know when he came in and started playing?
Lander was playing well for most of the season. Like, he was still playing okay under Eakins. He was one of the few players that was okay under Eakins, and then played really well under Nelson. And so, I mean, I don't want to slander Lander's last year, because last year he was good. Even with and without Hall, I think Lander had a good year last year.
He was definite. Most of his points came during the time when Hall was there.
He got
Because the reason that Hall was like that was that the first line was the Pouliot, Eberle, Nuge line, and the second line was Jarek Roy and Yakupov, and I forget the third player.
Pouliot.
No, Pouliot was first line.
Pouliot played with. Oh right, no, sorry. Who the hell played with them? Wasn't it? No, it wasn't Hall. My memory's
Was it
fading.
Purcell?
Might have been Purcell. Yeah, it was. It was Purcell.
No, sorry, G-Sards. I was fairly certain that Purcell is what he was playing with. Okay, G-Sards. I was fairly certain when the line was Hall, Miller, Lander. Lander was definitely playing center, wasn't he?
Lander was playing at center. Yes, he was.
Yeah. Miller wasn't center.
No, Miller was on the wing.
Okay.
I mean, so then do we stick Eberle with Lander and hope that Eberle can pull up by bootstraps and get him going, or
But then where do you put Nuge?
Nuge stick him in center or second line with Yak and Pouliot? You have Draisaitl, you have Draisaitl Draisaitl, Hall, and Nuge.
Yakupov?
Oh. Yeah. McDavid's still out. I guess you put Nuge as second C, and then stick Eberle on the first line, have Yakupov, Nuge, and Pouliot, and then third line you kind of get screwed. I don't. Fucking injuries, man.
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm done with Lander. I want him scratched. I want him to feel the heat.
I do too, but the issue is like we have so many injuries that it's not worth calling up Yakimov or Kyra. Like,
Yeah. It sucks, but as long as McDavid is out, I mean, he's going to continue to play, I think.
it's like the picket line where all the injured players are protesting, and then Lander's just kind of like walking through because he knows he can get a job. And it's just like, oh god, everybody hates him for it, but no one can change it because he's gonna get a job out of it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, so we've covered Lander pretty extensively.
Yeah.
It's
But we
18
haven't
games
really.
into the
We don't
season.
know. The key problem with Lander for us is that we don't know what to do with him.
Well,
We
I
do,
think we know
but we know
what
we
to do with him, but we can't.
can't do what we want.
Yeah.
I meant in the sense that like what we want to do is we want him to be scratched or
Be better.
like suffer some
He
consequences,
just
but
be
like
better?
that's not going to happen because of the injury situation.
Yeah, and ultimately, I think even when for the first few games when McDavid gets back, he's gonna need time to adjust again. So I think Lander gets even more time. Then I don't think if we're gonna trade him, it won't be until the deadline. I don't even know if we will trade him. So
Yeah.
we'll see. I mean, hopefully he can. Honestly, I hope he can find his game again because he was good last year. And if we can get a third line centerman again, it'll help a hell of a lot. But at this point, he does need to just sit back and see what he's doing wrong and maybe do some extra studying, or I don't even know. He needs something a kick in the ass.
So we're about a quarter of the way through the season. Let's just run through the gauntlet, of players. Like, what are your player grades so far this year? Adam, you want to start?
James, you can go through it each player at a time, and then we'll say our
Do you want me to
rating.
start?
No, I'll just name the players and we'll go through.
Sure. Hall, I guess, would be the first.
You go first and I'll go after you.
Me?
Yep.
Yeah. I'll give Hall an A minus. He was sort of slow to start, and then now he's our points leader.
I'd say A. He was slow to start, but he's fourth in league scoring, and he is off the best start of his career.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
give him an A as well.
He's also,
Draisaitl?
he's also been a leader, I might mention. There was
Yeah.
a story when Draisaitl got called up in the first game, wasn't playing very well, pulled him aside, said, "Look, you're a good player, don't worry about it, it'll come," and Draisaitl's now absolutely tearing up the league. So
Having like the best sex of his life with Hall right now.
Oh, God. I kind of wonder
Okay,
sometimes if any of the
Draisaitl.
players watch this and they just listen to you and you're like, what the fuck's wrong with this kid?
Yeah. Okay. Continuing on. Draisaitl.
Draisaitl.
I'll give Draisaitl an A plus.
I go A++.
He's been arguably our best player over the last few games. Mind you, there's less of a pool compared to Hall, but I like what we're saying.
I
All right. Nuge?
Wait, no. The rest of Draisaitl's grades.
I was gonna say A+ as well. He's been playing well. He's been the other remarkable thing. He's been amazing defensively.
Yeah, I give him an A plus as well. He's really he can slow the game down and almost play it the way he wants to play it. He seems like he doesn't move for anybody. That's what I've got from him.
I think the amazing thing to me is that if we have Hall, Nugent Hopkins, McDavid, and Draisaitl as our top 3C, we have 3 players who can all put up points, but all are responsible defensively, like incredibly responsible defensively. So that's pretty remarkable. Anyway, moving on.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Nugent Hopkins. I'll give him an A minus. Yeah, he didn't start off all that great, but there was sort of a lot of line experimentation going on. And then I think there was a definite stretch where he was absolutely our best player on the ice. And it's only because he had the flu last game and Draisaitl's playing amazing right now that Draisaitl is the best player on the ice. So yeah.
I go A minus. He's continued right off from last year. The only reason I'm giving it A minus is I can't give everyone an A plus who's played well, and Draisaitl and Hall have been ridiculous. So A minus for or even an A for Nuge. He's been really damn good. He's continued from last year, and I love what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
James?
what I've seen a lot from him as well. I give him an A minus. Next up, I'm just running down
Yep.
Yeah, don't
Roster.
worry.
list of players. McDavid.
A. Actually, A minus. Stats amazing, really fun to watch. I'm a little concerned about his possession stats though, and that's pretty much it.
I was gonna invent a letter grade because I've never seen a rookie this damn good. He's just it's
The CSP grade.
Yes, the CSP grade because he's just been. I mean the team didn't start off scoring and then they found their touch and he scored 12 in 8 games. Like he was just he's incredible.
After going like 2 games without a point.
And I think he was challenging Nuge for takeaway totals, which is remarkable considering Nuge hasn't even been close to anybody on the team. He's been ahead by a mile for the last 3 years. So it's
James.
Yeah, once he got going, an A for me as well. The first couple games were slow, but for a few weeks there before he got hurt, he was over a point a game and just electrifying every shift. I mean, so fast, man. He's so fast. I can't get over that still.
Everybody looks slow. Like Hall, even Hall looks slow compared to him.
Yeah.
It's
All
ridiculous.
right.
Hall's acceleration is nowhere near McDavid's
How
level.
about Yakupov?
Yakupov for me is a B plus.
Yeah.
McDavid sort of made him much better, and he has a lot of points, but he still has the same problems from last season, where he'll look really good for a huge stretch of play, and then he'll make a mistake, and then there'll be a goal against us. Like his good play isn't resulting in points for us. That's the problem.
I'll also say B plus. I think Yakupov's been also very good. He was. We keep saying McDavid dragged him up, but I think Yakupov himself did put himself in good positions. He made the right plays.
Yeah, he did definitely play well.
And on the third line right now, when he's playing with Lander, he looks like the best player on the ice. He's still making mistakes and bad turnovers, and he does at times. If he's playing with Lander, I find he tries to do too much. But you know what? I think he's settled into where the coach trusts him. He trusts his abilities, and I think he's been much better this year. So I'll give him a B.
B plus.
I'll give him a B. I think the last couple games he's only got an assist in the last 7 games now, so doesn't need to produce more.
James.
I'll give him a C plus. Not a huge fan of his work since McDavid has been out. I understand he's been with Lander, but
I don't know this man.
For the most part, I don't notice him that much when he's on the ice, and I think that McDavid is pulling him up. I don't think that that's a good thing. But if McDavid comes back and he can pick up right where he left off while McDavid was healthy, I think that's a good thing. So, I don't know. C plus. Not overly impressed, but not awful either. Definitely better than last year. Pouliot.
Adam, you start this one.
B minus. He hasn't been a detriment on the second line right now, and he's been pretty good working with whoever he's been playing with, which has been rotating quite a bit. He was started off the year with Yakupov, then he was with Eberle, and then he was Yakupov for a bit, and he did work with McDavid and Yakupov.
Yeah, the cognac.
And so he's been rotating a little bit, but I'll give him a B minus. How many points does he have right now?
9.
Yeah, so he's got 9 points in 18 games, 0.5 PPG, not bad. He's not going to be the player we want him to be, like the player he was last year. That last year was ridiculous.
I also think that it's the same story with McDavid, where he started like without any points, and then some of these points started coming very naturally to him.
I think B minus is a fair grade for him, to be honest. Like he hasn't been terrible, he hasn't been fantastic, but he's been pretty solid. So
My score for Puglia, it's going to be a B plus. I value Corsi a lot, and if you look at it, every single player that he's paired with, he boasts their Corsi like a huge load. Like when he was on the ice with Lander, Lander's Corsi went from a 43 to a 61. That's how much of an impact Pouliot has. Yes, he takes bad offensive penalties. Yes, it took a while for him to get started, but that's why he's not an A minus in my eyes or an A in my eyes. He's a solid B plus. James?
didn't you rate Draisaitl B plus?
No, A plus.
I thought you said. Oh, yeah, I was just trying to think. I'll have
I
to go
said A
back
plus for Draisaitl.
I'll
No
go
way.
back and graph these out. But anyway, go
Okay.
ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna be in the middle of you guys. I'm a B. I think that Pouliot still takes a lot of really stupid penalties, but he is a Corsi darling. I think we've all known that for a long time. Point 0.5. He's like a 0.45 PPG. Not awful, but
Perhaps
I
the
want
same
more
story
than
with
40
Yakupov.
points. You know, I want more than 40 points out of Pouliot. Honestly, 40 points is not good enough. So a B. He's not awful, but there's definitely a lot of room for improvement there.
Okay.
So next up would be Purcell.
Okay, Purcell, my eyes, a C plus. His start to the season was absolutely horrible. He's getting better now, but still, like if you look at it in terms of the what he's played so far, his body of work, C plus. And that's a sort of a generous C plus.
I go with C minus. He's been up until the last 3 or 4 games. He's been god awful, and he was our goat until Lander decided to take his spot over for him, which is very nice of Lander to do. But no, Purcell's been terrible this year. He started off terrible.
You by goat you mean greatest player of all time, right?
I was gonna say goat is in the one you turn into a curry and then eat, but that works too.
James.
But
Yeah, I'm with Adam on this one. C minus. Until Lander really started to stand out in a poor way, Purcell was absolutely the goat of the team. Like he was a joke for the first dozen games. He's started to turn a corner recently, but C minus. That first dozen
Actually,
games he was a joke.
yeah, in my retrospect, I'm changing my score to a C because I just realized how bad he was. I just
I
remember.
I
And
think
sort of wearing rose colored glasses here for his last few games.
part of it for me.
Next player.
He does have 2 in his last 2 games, but he's also playing with Draisaitl and
Oh.
Hall, which will help a lot. But
That would help.
G-Star just making a fairly good point. Purcell B minus. He was shit in the attack, but defensively he was very useful, especially on the penalty kill, which has currently been top 10 in the league for the most part so far.
he was okay on the penalty kill when we had players out. I don't think did he play penalty kill last night?
I don't know.
Penalty kill is important as a team function, but I don't value players who are good on the penalty kill.
Yeah,
If
five
that
on
makes
five
sense.
is the Oilers' weakness right now, and Purcell was not.
I mean, we can't discount the fact that he has been okay on the power play, but he's been soft. He's slow. I don't know. He's been
Yeah, Sean Collins saying, judging by that, Lander is our best forward.
exactly, which is fucking shoot me.
I don't know.
Okay,
in my
let's continue on.
Yeah. Okay. So next,
Oh, sorry. Last point for Purcell was me. I hate attributing salary to performance, but when you're getting paid $4.5 million a year, you got to be better than you are.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. Next, Korbakovsky.
I don't know. I don't have enough information to rate. I would give him, I don't know, C plus.
C plus.
C minus for me. I don't know. He's been pretty invisible.
He was
3 points in 10 games.
I mean, he
He's
helped a
not-
lot with the penalty kill.
and he was
but
a role
other
player
than
for
that-
us, and I think he
Yeah.
was okay when he was on, but he's been out
He's-
for the last.
Yeah,
month.
exactly. He's only played 10 games, so I don't know.
Hopefully, he gets better. I don't know what.
Letestu.
Oh God.
God damn it.
D plus.
D plus.
The-
I'm gonna give him a C minus.
Mine is more based off expectations and what we were told he was going to be and what he was supposed to come in and do and what he has done.
Yeah.
He was supposed to be a replacement for Gordon. That was a little worse defensively, but better offensively. And he has been worse than Gordon. He has been worse than Gordon defensively, but he hasn't been better offensively.
Yeah.
and he needs to
The
find his
thing
legs.
about the thing about Gordon that I liked was that whenever you had that line out with Gordon centering it, you knew that like okay, they're gonna go into the offensive zone and there's gonna be some kind of a cycle going.
They're gonna grind the
Like
shit out of the other
they're
team.
they're gonna grind the shit out of it, and they're gonna make the top line or the second line absolutely exhausted in that line
Mm-hmm.
in that shift.
I missed the
So
right
you know what?
line.
Actually, I'm changing it. I'm gonna give him a D plus.
Yeah, I'm giving him a D as well. He's like you said, he was brought in to replace Gordon. He hasn't replaced Gordon. I don't really know what he's trying to do right now, but he's been pretty bad. I'm giving him a D. D for dreadful.
D for dread.
Yep.
Matt Hendricks.
I go B. He's done what we asked him. He missed a
Yeah.
lot of time. Did you guys see the picture of his foot?
Yeah, I
Oh,
saw that. Yeah.
God.
You know what? After seeing the picture of that foot, I'm gonna change my score from a B minus to a B plus.
Yeah.
I like the fact that he's a leader on the ice. He's not asked for a lot, and considering what he is asked for, he does a lot.
We're totally not biased at all with these reviews, like picking players that we like better, of better grades or anything.
I mean, Hendricks is like the only bright spot in a sense of our bottom six.
He has done what we asked him to,
Yeah.
and he's
Yeah.
done it well.
Yeah.
We're not
And
expecting.
he has been put into situations where he's done like he's doing stuff where he wasn't originally asked to, like
That's the other thing.
playing the
though.
top line.
Yeah, and
And he's done it well.
he did well on top line until he like almost
injured,
shattered his foot blocking a puck that ended up turning into a pressure
Versatile.
cut.
Yeah.
James?
What stands out is that he has done what he was supposed to do in our bottom six, and no one else has done that. Like
Yeah.
Korpikoski has been injured. Lander and Letestu have both been huge disappointments. Pakarainen, he's not even supposed to be on the team. Like
Though he isn't supposed to be on the team, he is playing fairly well.
he's been okay.
He's been okay.
Yeah.
So
Considering
we
the
got-
state of our rest of our bottom six.
Eberle has only played 5 games, but what do you guys think so far?
I don't know. I don't have enough information to rate. I'll go with an average B minus.
I'll say yeah. I mean, you can't really say that he's been great, but he hasn't been off. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
he came back from shoulder surgery, not shoulder injury, sorry, and it's hard to jump right back in and be good. But he's been better last couple games. You saw it last night. He made a couple good moves. He hit the post, I think, last night. So I'll say B minus, and he's probably gonna be back up to an A in the next couple months.
Yeah, he's clearly not 100% right now, but he hasn't been awful. I'll give him a B minus. He hasn't been great, but he's not 100%.
He's also been playing on third line for like 3 to 5 games.
Exactly.
So.
So
And honestly, him and Yakupov are actually boosting that third line.
Oh God. I almost want to stick Lander on the left side and the third line, to be honest.
Yeah,
I don't know.
all right.
Anyway.
How about
We're moving on to defense.
there's a couple more forwards. Slepyshev. He only played 11 games, but that's over
That's
half.
the longest 11 games of my life. I'm giving him
Yeah.
a D. I'm gonna give him a D. I'll be kinder. He was asked for a lot, and in my eyes, he was sort of a preseason wonder, where he looked really good in the preseason, and we're
Yeah.
hoping that could be transferred onto a second line role, considering that Aberle was out. He was unsuccessful. Then perhaps a third line role, unsuccessful. Then he was forced to play 8 minutes a game, and I don't know. He couldn't make do with any kind of opportunities that he was set up with.
I'd
And now
say
he's sent out.
yeah, I'd say D plus. Slepyshev was basically the prototypical. You can be good in preseason, but that doesn't mean shit until you prove it in regular season. And I mean, Lander too was good in preseason, and that worked out well. But I don't know. Slepyshev was okay. He wasn't great. I think there's still a language barrier there because Yakupov had to translate from a lot. So the juniors do him so good. He's gonna be a good forward for us. And
I think definitely his future will be very positive for us. Yeah.
but wasn't great to start this year. He couldn't do what he
Because
asked.
I see definitely indications that
He
he
had
definitely
moments.
understands the defensive game.
Absolutely. That's the thing is that he's two-way forward, so that's good too. James?
I'm gonna give him an F. He was just
Dang.
invisible for. I didn't see any positive impact on him. From his play. He had like 1 assist in 11 games. But like you guys said, I see positive signs for the future. Like I see, hopefully, a bottom six power forward from him. That's sort of where I can see him sliding in. But those 11 games were pretty painful. He was not very good, in my opinion.
How much time are we at, by the way, right now?
We're at a lot. We're well over.
We're
our
at an
full
hour and 5
cap.
minutes.
All right,
Yeah.
so let's finish the rating. Maybe one other topic, and we'll wrap it up.
Lander. I think that's F's all around.
minus?
F minus.
Yeah.
F
Good
minus,
comic,
yeah.
terrible player.
Yeah.
Absolutely horrible Corsi wise, no points. A minus that makes Nick Foligno look like an angel. Takes bad penalties. Absolutely. It's not that he has a no impact. The other players that were giving poor grades here, we're giving them poor grades because they're invisible. Lander, we're giving poor grades because he's invisible, and when he decides to become visible, it's not in a
That's
positive
the right,
way.
wrong reasons.
Yeah.
The issue,
So F minus.
the big issue for me with the F minus is that it's not even the other players weren't being asked to be our third line centerman after they performed last year. They were being asked to complement or play fourth line and not be a hindrance. And Lander's gone the exact opposite direction of where we asked him. Or even like if he had maintained a play from last year, it'd be perfect. But he's gone downhill and he's played worse than we ever expected. And that's the issue for me. So definitely F minus.
Liam
So-
Durges says Lander should be rated with a Z.
Yeah. Okay, so that's gonna do it for the forwards.
Sorry, James, you also said F?
Yeah, for sure. Oh yeah. Clefbaum.
So the defense is hard for me, but
Yeah, defense is going to be quite hard. Okay, Clefbaum, I'm going to give a bit of a benefit of the doubt. I'm going to say a B. Yes, he didn't have a great start to the season, but lately he's been playing fairly well. When he was with Schultz, he was playing better. I'm a little bit concerned about his current play, but I also think he's a bit suffering from the Somofor curse, where players in their second season just
What
generally,
did you call
especially
it?
defensemen, don't do as well.
What did you call it?
Sophomore curse.
Okay, I thought you said it differently from him. I was like,
I definitely didn't say it differently. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm gonna say a B minus because I think he has struggled without Schultz, and he did struggle at the beginning of the year. But the last about 5 to 6 games, he's been much better. I don't know if he's a number one pairing defenseman for us right now, but we don't necessarily need him to be number one pairing. We just need him to be good, and he has been much better. He's also got 4 points now.
Oh man, Clefbaum has 10 points.
Oh shit.
Clefbaum has goals, dude. That's one thing I like about him. He's shooting more. He's shooting well.
I forgot that him and Sekera on pace for like 40 points or something. So yeah, no, I think B minus is still appropriate. He hasn't been incredibly responsible defensively, and I think he's been hurting without Schultz, but he hasn't been that bad.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with a B minus as well. He started off pretty brutally, but something to be said for 10 points in 18 games as a defenseman. I mean, that's something that you can't really ignore. It leads defensemen in scoring on the team right now, so he's displaying more of an offensive game than I thought he would. So that puts him on pace for about like a 40-point season as a defenseman. That's pretty damn good. So.
We had a 40-point season from any defenseman since Pronger left.
Sorry,
yeah. Let's not talk about that. Continue on.
Yeah. So yeah, B minus for me. Next up would be Sekera.
C plus.
Huh? Sorry?
C plus.
Yeah, I was gonna go with that too. He's been
Actually, you know what? A C.
I don't even
My
know
problem
like
with Sekera is that when he's playing well offensively, he's all right. But we sort of needed that Corsi player that we were looking for when we signed him.
he was supposed to be
That kind of player that could be our Petrie replacement, and he's just completely lost when he's having the puck. Like he doesn't look like he's making the right decisions. Lately, he's been looking better.
been much better. Yeah.
But one's got to question whether or not like has a better defensive partner in Nurse over Fayne.
I was gonna go with C minus because he started off so poorly. He was so bad for the first like 10, 12 games. The last 5, 6 games, he's also picked it up along with Clefbaum. And the points are coming, but he was the best free agent defenseman. He came in, he was supposed to be a replacement, if not better than Petrie. And
You're supposed to be better than Petrie.
And he's been worse for the most part. He's got more points, which is, I mean, it's good that he's producing now, but
I think Petrie almost has the same number of points.
Petrie's also having a really good season on a very good team. But I mean, he's also, I don't know. Sekera's been even better lately, which is good, but he did not start well. So I'm gonna go with this portion of the season. I'm gonna go with a C-.
And I know what James is gonna say.
No, I'll go with a C. Coming into the season, I was not stoked on Sekera, to say the least.
Color me impressed.
We are shocked.
I think we all know that I was not stoked on the Sekera signing.
I was expecting them grade lower than Lander.
No, he started off pretty rough. Lately, he's had a couple of pretty solid games. I think that he still makes a lot of boneheaded plays with the puck, and he's not the puck mover that we really need him to be. Mm-hmm. But I also think it's unfair to compare him to Petrie, because Petrie gets to play behind like Subban and Markov. And overall, Montreal's defense is just a lot better than Edmonton's. So it's pretty unfair to compare him to what Petrie's doing this year. So I try to separate that. But yeah, C, pretty negative overall. Not great, but he hasn't been a complete tire fire. So
yeah, continuing on.
Yes, next up would be let's go with Nurse.
A B. He's been our best defenseman lately. That being said, I still find a lot of qualities missing in his game. He doesn't know how to make the first pass that well. He's now looking better with Sekera, but still, I think there's a long way to go before we see that defenseman that we want from him. So B's. It's like I'm being fair as possible.
I was gonna say B. He's still a rookie. He's a kid playing defense in the NHL, which is not common. Mm-hmm. He has defensive lapses, but he's also he's curbed a lot of his tendencies to jump up into play, and that's what he got caught with a lot in juniors and in the NHL. And I think it's good that he's done that. He's been more responsible defensively, and he's only going to get better. So, yeah.
Yeah, I give him a B as well. He's I was kind of worried that his temper would get the better of him a lot of the time, but he's done pretty well with controlling his temper. You know, he's only got 4 PIMs in 9 games. So, or 2 PIMs, sorry. 2 PIMs in 9 games, which is way better than what I expected, considering he's a bit of a hothead. I mean, let's be honest.
I loved him standing up to Getzlaf, though.
Yeah, that was good. And he's got 4 points in 9 games. I mean, so there is some offensive potential there as well. Speed is good, toughness is good, first pass needs work, but he's like 20, you know, so what more?
There's a long way to go, and considering that he's like a B and a B plus and whatnot in our eyes right now.
Yeah,
I think part of it too is that he has gotten more confident lately, because I saw him jumping up a bit more in the last couple games, and he's gonna get better.
So. Yeah, a lot of potential.
Hopefully he doesn't go the Lander route, but let's continue.
Yeah, anyway.
I don't think it's happening.
Greiba.
C plus.
Sorry? B plus?
Problem with Greiba, almost like annoyingly, is that he's inconsistent, but his possession stats are one of the best on the team for a defenseman.
That baffles me.
So inconsistent.
That I don't understand how.
Because possession is also, for defensemen, is partially driven by forwards.
Yeah.
If you're playing with the Hall Draisaitl Purcell line, and you're spending time in the offensive zone, and they're getting shots upon shots upon shots, even if you don't have the puck, you're going to get positive possession stats. Then again, it also means that when he's in a defensive zone, he's not spending a long time in there. The issue with me for Greiba is he's probably the most inconsistent player on our team, and that's including Talbot. Like, he'll go from...
No, you can't do that.
No.
Talbot's inconsistent as fuck.
And so is Greiba. Are you kidding? Did you watch the Kings game where he picked up the puck and then gave a perfect pass to Korpitar, who scored the game-winning goal? And then, like, 2 games later, did the exact same fucking thing, where he threw up the boards and nobody was there and they scored off of it? Like Greiber to me, he'll make.
Greiber and Reinhardt combined to make the first pass out of the zone, which led to Hall's tying goal last night. But then at the same time, they had that big defensive lapse that you and I were talking about, Adam, where I think it was Reinhardt that was like, cover your guy, and then
Greiber
Greiber was like, cover your guy, cover your guy. And
puck over there, and the guy's behind him,
they
and he
just,
scores.
like,
It's like, oh god.
completely let their guy go. It was the weirdest thing. Like, they knew he was there, but they didn't do anything.
It became Talbot's guy.
Ugh, yeah, exactly.
And that works out well. But it was just.
I mean, past defensemen work that way. I mean, that's how it works for the Oilers.
It's just Greiber. So inconsistency for me leads to a. I mean, we knew he was going to be. We knew he was not going to be Nurse, but I give him a C minus.
Honest statement, though. Would you rather have Marinson right there or Greiber?
Yeah, I'll give him a C. I'll give Greiber a C. I mean, Marinson hasn't been anything to write home about over in Toronto either. So I mean,
no, Marinson has been great, but at least Marinson.
Now Toronto is winning now, but yeah.
Yeah, Marinson was more consistent.
His hero charts are amazing.
If he was consistently poor,
he was our best in hero charts.
If he was consistently, well, he was amazing with every. The thing is, like, you looked at his possession stats too. He was better with every player he played with. He made every player better.
Yeah.
Marinson, if he was playing badly, he was consistently bad the whole game. Greiber's inconsistent from shift to shift, or even on the same shift, which is just it's killer.
Yeah. No, Sean, like the thing about Marinson is, yeah, he's big and he plays small, but you don't understand the way that Marinson plays. Then it's when he's playing small and he's not using his body and he's having that good possession stats.
He's using his.
It means that he's doing something really, really right.
It was kind of an issue though. To Sean's credit, it was an issue that nobody on defense was throwing hits, and Marinson was part of that problem where he's 6'4" and he wouldn't do anything about it. It's kind of like Teddy Purcell where he's 6'3" and won't use his frame. It's it's an issue on defense at times. And Greiber does lead the team in hits right now, which I mean is what we brought.
Reinhardt doesn't? Oh, okay.
No, Greiber is. So
I think Nurse will overtake that soon enough.
Probably, but Nurse plays a more defensively responsible game, whereas Greiber will put himself in a bad position to throw a hit sometimes. So, anyway, moving on.
So he's Subban, you're telling me.
Next up, let's go with Davidson.
C+. I mean, he hasn't really played that many games for me to get a strong enough opinion. He didn't have a really good start. He has put in a few key goals that really came out of nowhere. He's been good on the power play for us, but other than that, it's
C+, B- for me. He's been better than I expected. Good enough that we can't send him down. Hasn't been able to say he's clearly better than Greiber or Reinhardt and should deserve a spot in every night. But who knew he had a cannon of a shot? Jesus. We've been looking for
also
a big shot for a while. And
what a fast shot they've got.
God, he's got a hell of a shot. So, but no, I'd say B-. He's been okay, but not superb. And, yeah.
Yeah, he's. I like what Liam is saying here. He says he's not amazing, but it's way better than we expected.
Yeah.
James?
I don't even know what I expected from Davidson. I figured he would be exactly where he is on the depth chart, like number 7 or 8. It's tough. I don't know. Like, he has been great. He's got a great shot. I give him a C. How old is Davidson? He's like 22?
24, I think.
24.
Oh, 24. Okay, he's 24. Like, how much more development is there, you know?
That's 3 more years easily.
I don't know.
I mean, Greiber got to this point, like, didn't start playing consistently in the league until he was, 26?
He's inconsistent.
Yeah.
Consistently in the league.
I know.
Brandon Davidson can be
what I meant,
consistently
different
in the league and still nothing, you know? Like, just because you're in the league doesn't mean, okay. Like, I give him a C. I don't think that I expect much more
He's
out
24.
of him than being a C, you know?
He's easily got at least 2 years of development left, yeah. And he's only been playing for, like, 2 seasons.
That's the other thing, though, is that
Or 1 season, actually.
He lost some development to his cancer treatment. You do lose a lot of weight.
Yeah.
He kind of came out of nowhere on the depth chart. So like, when was he drafted? 3rd round, 4th round, 5th round? Well, he was sixth. He was like a 6th round pick, wasn't he?
Back in 2010.
So in that context, Brandon Davidson even being on the NHL roster right now is pretty remarkable.
And getting over testicular cancer to get here, holy shit!
But
man, that's props.
With that said, he hasn't established himself as a good enough NHL player yet. Hockey business. So yeah, it's a business. Yeah.
Yeah, fuck your cancer.
Fuck cancer though. Yeah, he was 6th round, 162nd overall in 2010. So it's been about 5 years.
For a 6th round pick, he has done well.
Very.
So I guess next up would be Fayne.
D minus for me. He has been. Great? Oh, James has gone crazy. We've got Psycho James right now. Trucker Hat James. There it is.
I just need a.
He has not looked good. The pairing with Sekera is just bad. I don't know.
I'd say C minus, D plus at best. He's been bad, but he hasn't been a whole lot. He hasn't given a whole lot of chance to play. He's on the outside looking in, and
at this point he's just gonna get traded.
The coaches don't want to give him. The coaches essentially don't want him to hurt. So
yeah. Fayne is probably like a C minus or a D plus for me. 1 point in 15 games. He was never brought in for his offensive game, but I mean, obviously the coaches don't like what they see. He was
brought in for consistency and good decision making.
The coaches don't like what they see, so I mean, I trust them more than I trust myself. You know, he hasn't been great. I can see that to my eyes, and the coaches obviously agree. So, he's only played 9 games, but let's go with Justin Schultz.
He's been one of our best defensemen. I'm going to give him a B plus A minus.
A minus, yeah.
Really, I'm very slight on giving him the A minus just because I don't we're judging the other defensemen on more games played.
Yeah.
And we don't know whether or not those 9 games or 8 games rather from Schultz were the good ones, with that last one being that bad game.
But he was.
But one thing is for absolutely sure, he is much better than he was last season.
He was by far and away the best defenseman, and that's the thing for me is that he wasn't the better defenseman. He was by far and away the
best defenseman. Yes.
He
was playing like he was a first overall, first 1D.
Like last year, compared to this year, I didn't even know if it was the same player anymore. It was like, okay, okay, I'm okay with this, and so if he can come back and play half as well as he did, then
Adam.
Yes.
Adam. Do you think he could win the Norris?
If he plays like that, I mean, you know.
I'm having a bit of fun there.
McT called it.
McT fans.
I don't know, man. He was pretty good. A minus.
Grades A minus are for players like Doughty, and for players like Brent Burns, Victor Hedman, etc., etc.
Burns hasn't been playing well.
He was our number 1D.
Yeah, not an A minus for me.
You're welcome to people who score.
Your opinion is stupid.
I know. Stop liking what I.
This is the guy that amazed us with his Sekera scores.
I give him a B minus. He was a lot better than last year.
I didn't think he'd go that low.
That doesn't say much. I mean, yeah,
you gave him B minus.
He's been good. That's all I'll say.
That's rough. B minus, but fuck you anyway.
This is the guy that gives Sekera.
You don't throw around grades like A minus for players like Justin Schultz. I mean, he's been good.
If he deserved it, then I'm gonna give it to him, and he deserved it.
I don't think he deserved it.
Small sample size is kind of an issue, and his last game was pretty bad.
Hence why I'm very reluctant to just give him the straight A minus.
The thing is we're not.
Give him more of a B plus.
I'm judging him by the first amount of games he's played, and the next time we do this, I'm going to judge him by the amount of games he's played between the two, not the whole season.
Didn't he only have 1 point in those 9 games?
What's he at right now?
Yeah, he only had 1 point. Then again,
the team didn't start scoring until 6 games in.
What's that?
They didn't have a very good season to start the season.
The team didn't start scoring until 5 or 6 games in.
Yeah.
Part of that is his fault.
Part of that is also the entire offensive's fault.
Yeah.
Yeah, from the back end, I'd say he shares more of the blame than the average Bear.
For the defense, yeah, sure. But what about McDavid and Hall and Nugent Hopkins and Eberle and well, Eberle was dead, but Yakupov and
James, my
Pouliot.
key issue with that is that the way that T-Mac was running his offensive strategy, because when he first started this season, he was doing a defense leads to offense kind of strategy where it's pucks to the point, get shots on net, redirect the puck. When he realized it wasn't working, and when we started winning games, was when it was just offense cycling and offense leading to goals. I mean, the forwards leading to goals.
I think part of it for me though is
So in that sense, like it sort of became that, like the key purpose that defenseman provided wasn't for offense, but it was purely for like either continuing the cycle or just playing defense.
for me it's been
I
also.
feel
Go ahead.
And in that sense, I like what Schultz is doing because Schultz does. We see less of the boneheaded plays that he's doing from last season. And he's still he was like close. He was first in no he was second when he got injured in Corsi. You know who was first for defenseman?
who
Ryba.
Greiba.
was first.
Really? Huh.
Yeah.
It's
Wouldn't
logic.
anyway.
guess that. I don't know who I would have guessed though, because they all kind of suck. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Guy was a 55. I don't understand it.
That's the lowest 55% Corsi I've ever seen.
Yeah, yeah. For me, I don't know. I think part of it for me is Schultz obviously worked on a shot over the summer because it's a muffin, but it's at least like a strong muffin now. So it's a brand muffin rather than a chocolate chip.
I do understand James and G starts where you're coming from because Adam and I are a little bit biased in the sense that we're rating him relative to the team rather than to the league.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that
Yeah.
for our team he was a solid defenseman. For the league,
Yeah.
he would have been like a C minus.
No,
But-
not the C minus. Much better than a C minus, but a second pairing defenseman. Yeah.
Well, because wasn't he playing first pairing when he was healthy? Were him and Clef first
Sort
pairing?
of more along the lines of
think so.
Sekera wasn't playing as well, so he was forced to.
Yeah, well, that's a thing. I don't know.
Okay, moving on. So he
Moving on,
has
yeah.
only he's only played 9 games as well, but there is Griffin Reinhardt as well.
Oh,
I don't even know how to
Reinhardt.
judge him. Like,
C minus.
C.
He amongst their 3 bottom defensemen, defensively he is looking a little bit better, but his first pass absolutely horrible. His defensive play is just inconsistent, more inconsistent than Greiba at times. His offensive play is absolute garbage. And yeah,
He's as cool as a
I
cucumber
am
with puck, though.
concerned with Reinhardt, and I am hoping that he's what 24, 20, 23.
No,
He's
he's,
like
21?
21. He's still pretty
21.
young. Yeah,
He's
He
fairly
was a
young, yeah.
2012 draft pick. Same year
So
as
yeah,
Yakupov.
he's the same age as Lander, right? Yeah.
No, he's the same age as Yakupov.
Yakupov. Whoops, that's what I meant to say. I don't know why Lander came out of my mouth.
he's
yeah.
21. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. In terms of what he's doing with his minutes, it definitely needs to be improved. I'm interested though in how a Reinhardt Davidson line could play out because he's played
it's
more
okay.
with.
It's okay at best. They've played together. It's
Yeah.
it's better than I don't know. Reinhardt for me. C. I think he's been okay at
That's a very
times,
kind C.
but also he was injured.
If you
and
really focus in on the game, you pay attention to the way Reinhardt plays, and you notice when he has the puck, then you really immediately your ratings will start dropping.
I don't know because
Because that's what I did.
he's
and
got
I
a
went,
he's got
"Oh
a
my
good
God,
shot,
I
and
wanna bump
he's really calm and collected with the puck, which we don't have a lot of defense. A lot of people panic with the puck in defense, and he is really calm with it. His first pass is pretty bad. His skating isn't
calm
superb.
with it, but his decisions are bad.
And I think part of that is come with time though, and
Okay.
he's been better than Davidson and Greiba on the back end for me, and Ferentz. So for me, that's he's done almost all of what we asked him to do on a third pairing right now. And you know what? For the amount of picks we spent on him, he's not going to be a third pairing, or he's not going to be a second pairing right away. But he could end up being a second pairing if he improves. So for that, I give him a C.
Okay.
I give him a very generous C. I tried to look
Very
at
generous.
I'm trying to look at his play like in a
Also generous
vacuum
terms.
as opposed to trying to remember what we gave up for him. So forget about the draft picks we traded for him. Just look at his play.
When I look
First
at his, but I'm
pass.
not looking at his play in terms of a vacuum.
Hey
I feel
Arun.
as though both of you
Hey
are like
Arun.
looking
Hey
at it
Arun.
compared to the
Hey
rest of the defense
Arun.
Arun,
Hey
force. Yeah.
Arun. Hey
shut the
Arun.
fuck up.
Yeah, shut up for
Hey,
one.
listen.
So
Go fuck
where was I?
yourself.
Je suis
Um,
asshole.
Yeah.
yeah, the breakout pass, like it's not there. Puck handling is it's pretty limited. Offensively, he's a black hole. He does he even bring toughness? Like he's not a muffin, but he doesn't strike me as like a real tough guy.
He throws hits.
Yeah, like he does. You're right. He does throw hits, and I'm thinking back to his junior days where he played in Edmonton as well, and he was a real rock back then. He was never a real offensive force, but he was like real solid. Just like a real Jason Smith,
Dependable
Steve
defenseman.
Stais kind of guy. Maybe
Over.
he can evolve into that. I don't know. I give him a C. I feel generous giving him a C though.
Okay, so I think is that it? Because we're running
That's it. Yeah,
close
yeah.
on
So
time.
let's move on to goalies. Talbot.
Okay, Adam, you can start. Let's
Oh God. So I'm the first to come to Talbot's defense because the defense is shit, and Talbot has been inconsistent. But if you look at the stats for first year starting goaltenders, it's not great. Um, Talbot has not been great. He's had some bad goals, a couple of them, quite a few bad goals, at least 6 or 7. He's been okay at best when he's been on, but there have been games where, especially at the beginning of the season, where he bailed us out hard. And I think it's a lot of his confidence. Confidence is huge in both goaltending and athletics as a whole. But right now he needs to sit back, sit on the bench, and let Nielsen take over for a little bit. And then once Nielsen messes up, or we hit it back to back, and then Talbot can get it and try to get his confidence back. But I mean, if you eliminate the first and fourth goals, second and third goals from last night, which weren't his fault at all because he got screwed, he has a 9.20, and like the other 2 goals he probably should have stopped. But if you're gonna eliminate the defensive errors, or at least half of them, save percentage goes down quite a bit. With that said,
down or up?
goes up quite a bit. Sorry. Your goals against goes down. But so with that said, I give him a C minus. We need him to be a starter, and he's been even a D plus. We need him to be a starter, and he's been okay at absolute best. He's been okay.
I would give Talbot a D. I feel as though there's a lot left in terms of what he needs to learn. And honestly, what I was hoping that we would get from Talbot is that we would get somewhat of a somewhat of a reliable presence where, like, if we break down, like, he'll be there to cover for us and, like, he'll stop the simple stuff. And, like, he's there for stopping, like, the hard stuff. But what's killing us is, like, his post coverage is quite bad. And, like, he allows in the really weak stuff. And he did that to start this season, and he's still doing that. He did that for like 2 different goals, like the first 2 games.
Yeah.
So honestly, like, in a sense, compared to, say, like the league average, a D is perhaps a bit generous.
Yeah.
James.
I give him a D as well. He hasn't been anywhere near as good as the Oilers need him to be. Even just average goaltending, I think, would make the Oilers a much better team.
Yeah.
You don't need to be a superstar, man. Just give us the B, give us B grade goaltending, and we would be a better team. But his like Arun said, the coverage of his post is atrocious. That goal against Calgary, oh man,
Should not happen.
Was that Frolik? I think he scored a hat trick that game against us. And that goal with 8 seconds left coming off of the post, like, it cannot go in, period.
Yeah.
Let's go on to Nielsen.
I can't, like I said, I'm not going to defend those, but I still think he'll finish with a 9.18.
Let's
James,
wrap
you can start
here. So with Nielsen, I guess a C. I give him a C plus. I think he's been a little bit better than Talbot. Still not even league average, but I believe. I like Nielsen's fight. I feel like he has more intensity than Talbot, and I like that from goalies. And I think that Nilsson should be given the reins here for the next little while going forward.
Mm-hmm. At the beginning of the season, I thought Nielsen and Talbot were very similar. Talbot has gotten a little bit worse, and Nielsen has gotten a little bit better. So because of that, I'm going to give Talbot maybe perhaps a generous C plus. Jensen Phillips is saying 7 people watching you. You have a huge following. Thanks, Jensen.
Jensen was the guy that was supposed to join us in the first place.
Yeah. Hey, Jensen. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm perhaps a little bit concerned, but at the same time, like, he still suffers from similar problems that Talbot does, where he lets in some of the weaker stuff. His lateral movement isn't as fast, and yeah. Anyway.
He gets away with a lot of that because he's huge, though. Like, he's 6'4". Like, he gets away with a lot of stuff because he's huge.
He's a tall dude.
I'd say C plus as well. He started off rough, but he's been much better, and he kind of came out of nowhere. So first off, good scouting and good job by the management to find somebody that could actually be a reliable backup this year, considering how bad Scrivens has been in the AHL. And they still made the right call by keeping him. He's been better. I think he gets to start on Wednesday in Chicago, and probably until he messes up again, just because he's been better than Talbot recently. But both our goaltenders have left some quite a bit to be desired, so I'd say C plus.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so I think that's pretty much everyone. And any other topics you guys want to cover here before we wrap up?
Chia management reviews.
Yeah.
Coaching review. I'm going to give the coach a very solid A minus. Very adaptable. Not desperate, adaptable, but also very, very calculated in the moves. In terms of what they're doing, I like what they're telling the players. There's a lot of fight in the team now. But then again, it's a lot of moral victories and not winning. So I would really like to give a higher score, but I can't.
I'm going to go with A minus just because since we've started scoring, McClellan and Woodcroft and the crew have been able to maintain scoring despite the fact that half our forwards have been injured. And they've also figured out a defensive pairing that works somewhat. They were willing to switch up the goaltenders or not. They haven't been timid about switching up the lines. They've tried to find stuff that works. They've gone with literally everything, but they haven't been afraid to keep people together who have been successful. And so with that, I'll say an A minus, and they've been really good. Yep.
Our power play is 3rd in the league right now.
Exactly. And that's the other thing is that our power play started off horrible, and has gotten much better. And our
penalty kill started off great and has been worse as of late.
It's been worse, but we've always been getting better again since we got our players back. So, James.
Yeah, A minus for me as well. I think that the players want to play for these coaches, so I think that helps out a lot as well. And plus all the reasons that you guys already mentioned, so I don't need to go over that again. I think that's going to pretty much do it for us.
Chia, GM.
Oh, come on. Come on. He hasn't done anything.
Okay, you know what? We won't do it because there's been almost no moves done.
There's been nothing, so I'm not going to judge him.
We'll see when we get when Fayne's traded.
So we've been going for an hour and 40 minutes. We're all tired right now. We have other stuff in our lives that we need to get to. So we'll just wrap up. I hope you guys been enjoying what the podcast for today. We were planning for 30 minutes. It went for an hour and 40 minutes. So thank you for bearing with us.
You don't know how to tell time.
Yeah, we don't understand time in the slightest bit. That being said, I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for participating in the podcast with us. Again, you can catch this later via, what's the website again? Archive.com?
Archive.org. I'm going to post the last 4 podcasts. I've been lazy and haven't done it yet, and I've been busy with school. But those are all
subscribe button
audio.
Underneath too.
Yep, subscribe.
And you can also subscribe on YouTube and basically follow us that way. You can also check out our Twitter at rOilers podcast. And generally we post the sub as well.
And don't forget to donate to Yak Charity too.
Yeah.
All November.
And and we're doing Yak Charity right now. I gotta donate for that. That's my bad, boys. I have been lazy. That being said, thanks very much for joining us, and that's pretty much it for us today.
See you guys next time.
It's been Arun, James, and Adam.
Bye.